Well, greetings, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Wherever on planet Earth or off the planet you might be, because we are going to be talking about the spirit of the earth today. We are going to have an amazing discussion with two other angelic, high, intuitive, spiritual beings as we tune into the consciousness of the earth. And I thought it was really interesting that I have the earth behind me. So we're sitting outside on top of the world, and we're also looking in so we can do healing, all of us here on Mother Earth today. So guys, I'm Joan of Angels. We are airing on Portal to Ascension. Fantastic program where you can actually see very conscious material. We're going to show you exactly some of the upcoming events. You can have conscious presentations. So we want to show you what we've been doing on Portal to Ascension with some of our team. Let's get that up there. Let's see. All right. Well, I'll share this. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. So on Portal to Ascension, you have access in the next period of time. We have William Henry. And as we scroll down, just to give you a real brief overview, guys. All right, this one sounds so interesting, the paranormal and the magic. I think it's going to be extremely interesting. And then I want to tell you a bit about the Kundalini event. So I am co-producing the Kundalini event with Neil and Alan Steinfeld. We have some of the top people in the field. Can you open it up, Tina, so they can see? We have Kai Shante, we have Val Tingini. Okay, we have some really amazing people, Larissa Stowe, and she most likely would do some music for us. We have the poet of Kundalini. So I'm inviting you all, encouraging you all to take a day off where you can center and you can feel into your entire, align your body, mind, and spirit with the divine and just have that freely flowing energy flowing through you so we can get through even more times together. So thank you for showing that, Tina Marie. All right, guys. Well, and I hope you all join us there. Good. All right. Well, welcome back to the Earth. So, yes, guys, we are streaming to Portal to Ascension, and I right now have the honor of introducing to you two other angelic frequencies here that you know. We have Chiraya, Dharma, and Michelle Anderson with us tonight. Hello. How are you, ladies?
Doing so well, and even so much better being with you all today. What a treat.
I thought so. Let's all just take a deep breath in together. I was going to do it by myself, but let's just all do it together for a minute. So, there. Down there on the planet where the rest of you live, it's a very busy place. And, it's easy to get caught up in the 3D world, in that consciousness of, oh, I got to get somewhere. I have to do something. I have to eat. Lord knows, what we're going to do. And so when I found this, backdrop, I thought, oh my God, this is so true. Today, when we talk about the spirit of the earth, we can sit outside in a certain way, all together collectively, and really feel into objectively from outside in the Mother Earth, the Mother, our planet, so that we can collectively send healing energies together and have that body, mind, and spirit alignment with the earth. What do you say?
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. So we'll start. Let's start with Chiraya. And
Hmm.
Chiraya, tell us a little piece about you and a little gift from Mother Earth. What do you have for us,
Oh,
Spirit of
wonderful.
Earth?
Thank you so much for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here. And a little about me. Well, I have been on this spiritual path, I guess you could say, even more than the worldly path since I was a little girl. And sometimes people would be like, "You're so wise, but you're not very down to earth," so it's
Oh my God.
kind of like, "Woo!" The exercise is actually getting into the body while we're channeling the higher realms. And, it's a lifelong practice.
It is. Oh, you know what? I have to say something. I realize this is really going to be a conversation because now I know why Neil asked the three of us to talk about the spirit of the earth because he didn't say talk about being ground, like the grounding of the earth. He said the spirit of the earth. And already, getting down to earth, we're already seeing that there's a lot happening.
Indeed. And so that's actually really poignant because it's one of the things I wanted to bring forward today. I'm a student of the ancient Vedas and all kinds of different spiritual traditions around the planet. There's this word called Prakriti, and it's also related to Parvati, which is Shiva's wife, and it has to do with it's basically pointing to nature and the mother, and so therefore earth and manifestations, the physical manifestations, but it's also Prakriti is also means energy, and Parvati is also the Shakti. So I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. So one of the foundational things for us that we're learning in this age, as Neil can talk about in this Dwapara Yuga, which many think we're in, is we're realizing that matter is actually vibration and energy first, and then it becomes this more solidified experience, but nevertheless it's still energy. And so the ancient Vedic word Prakriti points to both of those realities at once by its nature. And so I wanted to bring that word forward for us today as we're contemplating the earth and its malleable nature, which that's where our consciousness comes from, right? So
How do you spell that word for us?
Prakriti. And I'm sure there's many scholars who will know more and elucidate it on it more than I. But
Could you do
that
it
one,
a little slower one more time?
Prakriti. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Thank you. That's so nice. Michelle, my love, it is so nice to see you.
Love being here. I love being here with both of you. And it just when Neil brought it up, I felt the same way that you two are sisters that inspire me continually with your wisdom and the way that you're so authentic and transparent and loving. And every time I'm in your presence, I feel uplifted and I feel smarter. I feel like you impart so much wisdom that I just breathe it in. And it's just so both of you today. I was contemplating this as well. And I called Chiraya before we like a couple of hours ago, and I said, so we hadn't talked in a while. Um, and I was really feeling the energies of this talk, coming forward and noticing that we're halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. On Sunday is May Day, right? May 1st. And for some reason, my body seems to register that there's something that happens during these times in between the equinoxes and solstices, because I get this way on February 2nd as well. And it's the same thing in between the winter solstice and the spring equinox is February 2nd. So I don't know what that means. I just know that I feel it in my body. Like Chiraya just said, she got goosebumps when she was talking about nature. And it feels like this is what we're all calling forward right now, just for each one of us to drop in and feel our Mother Earth communing with each one of us. Uh-oh. You're on mute.
There we go. Yes, absolutely. That's beautiful, Michelle. Such a fun joy. And that's interesting. The gateway between equinox and solstice, that's interesting that you're tuning right in on that. That would be like an eighth. It's like the eighth of the cycle. So those times are like gateway portalways into new periods of energy. So it makes sense that you would feel it. It's like uh, I always remember that Black Elk said, "Take care of the transitions." In Black Elk Speaks, a book that was profound for me a long time ago, and I always remember that one because every transition, whether it's a birth, a death, a career change, an equinox, a solstice, and now you're bringing forward these eights, and really every morning, every day, every moment is a transition of some kind. But here on the Earth plane, for many thousands and thousands and thousands of years, people have really celebrated those transitions in many ways, and it's important for the human psyche to get its bearings on reality and to create a pattern that can be perpetuated and built upon. So it's interesting how we kind of got knocked off our patterns, I would say, for the last couple of years, and that's causing us to go within more. But I wonder what will happen as we each find our own new rhythm here in these next phases, and we can build beautiful gateways and portalways into what's next. More conscious.
So,
Doesn't that feel like when you say that, Chiraya? I think that's partly why I called you before we went on, because I noticed that's what I witnessed with you, is that you're really tuning into your own rhythm and the way that you are flowing right now. You're tuning into your own energy on, where am I supposed to be on Mother Earth? Where do I fit? Where can I give my love? Where can I receive back? There's this infinity loop that I think is happening. And Joan and I, we're both here in Southern California, right, Joan?
yes, we are. But
Um,
yes, giving back to Mother Earth, okay? And when you kind of loop it around, that's what we're doing today. We're giving back to Mother Earth, who has given to us, and we're doing it with a consciousness of being an awareness, and collectively together, like really centering in on this picture of what does this earth mean to us, and what does it mean with gratitude. I don't know, I've been going outside, and the mountains seem to talk to me now all the time. I see so many faces in the mountains and animals in the mountains. I don't know why I ever thought the rock was solid, you know what I mean? And the trees are talking up a storm, and everyone has something to say, and the earth is going through, just like we are, this initiation process. I mean, the whole planet is right behind us. The whole planet's on the same kind of vein, and I think we're going through grand initiation through many portals. Some days I feel like everything's a portal for me. I'm a portal, you know, i- of transforming energy. So in that kind of situation, how do we align with the earth? How do you align with each of us align with the earth and give back to the earth in those ways?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, prayer, I would say, which to me is, focusing positive, harmonious soul thinking and feeling vibrationally on a daily basis to keep the rhythm going, even if the earth under our feet doesn't feel as solid as it used to be. The anchor and the tether is to spirit, I would say. And as Michelle was saying, I've been traveling, and I kept being like, well, where am I supposed to live? Is it this country? Is it that city? Is it this state? Or I just like get nothing. But I finally thought to ask, not by city and state or country, but I was like, oh, wait a second. Am I just supposed to be by the water? And I got this big yes, that I can be anywhere on the planet as long as I'm 20 miles away from the ocean or the salt water. So that was a new thought. It went completely beyond boundaries, like boundaries of like human made
Hmm.
I love how you follow your intuition and your guidance. I know Joan does that as well. And one of the things that is being brought forward right now is I just got a text from Kimber Paella, and she said, "With you live from northeastern New Mexico." And Kimber was with me. I can't believe it's only been 1 week since Earth Day. Last Friday was the 22nd, and it was Earth Day. And I took a group of people. I had planned one of our dolphin excursions, right? Joan has been on our dolphin excursion.
Two
And
times.
this is, 2 times. This is a 2-hour boat cruise. And we go on the water. And the way that I originally received this message was through the dolphins. And they placed it on my heart that water is a conductor of energy, and it has memory. And stored within the waters on our earth are the original keys and codes to peace on earth. So when we take a large group of people onto a catamaran, and we're making this intention together, all of us. There were 48 people this time. The boat holds about 55 people, I think. And we make the intention that we're not going to be separate. We're merging our energetic fields with the intention that we're going to open our hearts, because of course dolphins bring us in an open-hearted way. I mean, I've never seen anyone look at a dolphin and just be like, oh, there's a dolphin. It's they bring you into your joy, right? So you're like, woohoo, the dolphins are here. And when we're in that open-hearted space, we don't keep it to ourselves. We make the intention that we're using this collective energy to share our joy and raise the vibration for the rest of the planet, sending healing wherever healing is needed, sending our love even beyond the earth plane, to the cosmos, to Mother Earth, to all life upon Earth. And what happened this past Friday was I woke up in the middle of the night before the boat trip, and there was heavy rain, pouring down rain. And I'm like, okay, great, it's raining. I'm just gonna, intend that we're going to have this boat trip anyway, and the rains won't be with us, and it'll be fine. We appreciate and honor the rain coming to Southern California. And then when I woke up, there was sun, but there was also wind. And the owner of the boat called me in the morning and said, Michelle, the seas are really rough, and I'm not sure it's safe for you guys to go out, for your whole boat to go out. Now, I had people that flew in from Colorado and Michigan. I had people that drove in from Colorado. I had a couple that drove all the way across country from Maryland. And they were all on this boat trip. And I'm thinking, oh, I feel like how I want to give them this experience. And they're all here for this experience. And I had a whole bunch of people that I had never been on one of our boats before. People that work with soil and sponge, that understand how important the soil is to our evolution, is in terms of the nutrients that are in our soil, and how we've gotten off track on Earth with how we're processing our food farms and stuff. So we're really wanting to bring attention back to regenerative agriculture and what that means and how to do that for our food production. And 13 of those people were coming on the boat. I'd never met any of them. And I'm thinking, are you going to cancel our boat on us? We've had, days where it might be projected that the rain was going to come. And I'd say to the group, wow, if that's not, we want the rain to come, but after our boat, let's intend together that we're working with Mother Nature and asking for our requests, seeing it done and being in gratitude. This is how we do things. And we've held off storms till after we got off the boat, when they were supposed to be there when we were on the boat. So I thought, okay, let's do that intention. Let's call for a clearing wind to calm the seas. And then one of the women that was coming on the boat said, Michelle, what if that's not in the best and highest good for this group? And I said, you're right. What if it's not? Let's surrender and trust that what's in the best and highest good will come forward. Oh my gosh, what ended up happening was amazing. It was magical. The boat owner said, it's not safe. We can't go out. The seas didn't calm down. And as Joan knows, if we do not have calm seas, we have a lot of people throwing up over the back of the boat. The fish are happy, but our people aren't happy when that's taking place. So what ended up happening was the boat owner refunded everybody's money and said, we're giving you the boat anyway, and we're going to let you go in the harbor so that you have your Earth Day experience. And these 48 people came on this boat for free, and we gave them an incredible experience, and they gave us an incredible experience, because it felt like we were being dolphins out of the sea. Each one of us was emulating the joy that the dolphins place in our heart, even though we didn't physically see them. I did bring a blanket that had 2 dolphins on it and said, look, we saw dolphins. But we were in our joy. We played music together. Eric, my Awakening Code radio partner, brought his keyboard, and our friend Merry Christmas brought his guitar, and we played joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me, and we're just dancing and having fun. And Kimber, who's texting in, hello, Kimber, she's back in New Mexico. She was on this boat with us, and it really was an experience for each one of us to see how we can work with nature, but we can also surrender and trust that Mother Earth knows what she's doing. And the universe is working with us and through us. And it was really incredible. And Kimber is a grid worker. Are both of you, how do you feel? Chiraya, it feels like you're on a grid working assignment right now.
We do what we do. Yes.
Well,
We do what we do, for sure.
I definitely am. I've been talking about this clipboard that we came down in our toolkit, that we came down with billions, some of us billions of years ago. And the only thing the good thing is that they sent us down with everything we need, including a costume to wear down here, and our and all the skills we need. It's really a matter of aligning and realizing that, we could spend a lot of time talking about everything wrong with the planet. But, a lot of that's been man-made. The planet without any of us on would be doing just fine, without any of the ways we've shifted its energy. But what I really like is hearing the ways we can really uplift Mother Earth. As we're going through this ascension process, we can plant. I like that you're planting Native American chants and codes, Chiraya, into the earth. And I'm wondering if you can share things like that with us, like actual ways you talk to the earth and live with the earth.
Well,
Because you're
one
just
thing
so
that's interesting,
magical.
thank you. Like what Michelle was saying is, I find myself in Florida, which is a bit unusual. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be in Florida right now, to say it that way. And also, it's the Atlantic Ocean. It's the Atlantis portal. And so when I started getting called here, I started feeling the Atlantis energy. And then a woman from Bermuda came to me for a reading, and I felt it there. And then the people that I'm meeting and the energy, it's like a recollection of the older Atlantean codes for the rising of Atlantis, like the positive rising of Atlantis, and those Atlantean codes that come back from so long ago, from before anything went haywire. Let's just say it that way.
Wow.
And so to me, that shows up. I mean, it feels like crystals. Like when I think of the Atlantean energy and the ocean here, I think about crystals, clear quartz crystals. But then I also had a vision about Australia, and I saw all these huge, enormous crystals rising up around Australia. And these crystals I saw there were blue and like a bronze color. But another code worker who already lives here said she had felt the rising of the quartz crystals over here. And then what day was it? I guess it was on what day was that? Sometime in November. It was one of those really important days. I can't even remember which one it was, where we were all meant to be praying and on the earth last year. And I went and did my part by doing a full day sadhana, walking, singing, crying, laughing on the beach, like literally morning to night, all day long, in the rain, and just dropping the cell phone, dropping the devices, getting back in touch with the spirit of what it feels like just to be a being on the earth. And kind of what Joan was hinting at, we have this wetsuit already. We already have the device that we really
Right.
need.
It's just a device, right?
And that's, to really start to think about how much these devices are interfering, like even with the Schumann resonance, which is supposed to be, 7.8 something hertz. And it is all over the place right now. And we don't even really know why. We don't know if it's a natural thing or an unnatural thing. But our body's rhythm and the earth's rhythm is getting jostled around right now quite a bit. So if we can spend more time on the earth and really praising that and being okay with it, and not like just literally let go, like let the devices go to the wayside for at least a good solid day a week, if not more, would be that's what I try to do. That's one of the ways that I'm keeping my rhythm and connecting is by literally turning these things off, as much as we like them and appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be
So
running
we
that
can hear.
frequency as our only frequency in our field all the time.
I hear a flute as you're talking in my
Huh.
head. I'm hearing
Interesting.
this like the soul of the earth, almost responding to what you're talking about, because I'm literally like, how often do we hear the soul of the earth and its song? That we put away those devices so we can hear.
And she wants to hear us, and she wants to feel us, and she wants to feel our bare feet. If you think about, so we're source streaming human angels, and in our fully intact manner, we see all that has been streaming behind us through all our ancestries and our lifetimes, and we see all the possibilities forward streaming through these crystalline uh, filaments of light, fiber optics of light of the natural original source harmonic universe streaming before us all the time, so we can choose where we're going to go explore next. And we got knocked off of that, what I was shown anyway, about 300,000 years ago, where there was this big explosion followed by an invasion here, and it kind of knocked us off of our connection to the earth and each other through this fiber optic of light original source harmonic universe connectivity. And that's part of why that invasive energy got in and sort of started messing with beings, is because we didn't have, we lost our full connectivity, is what I was shown. And so it's been a little bit of a challenging times since then. I will just, at least that's in my experience right now. Of course, I'm always open to learning more and comprehending more about what actually happened and all that. But that's, in other words, even if that's just an analogy, it's like, what about even like our pee on the, like what about like the earth reading our bodies when we pee in the garden, or, and when, when the women used to sit and feed on the earth and give that back to the earth. And, we used to sit around the campfires, and we used to be literally in touch with each other. We used to sing all day long. We used to sing and do these things. So how can we rekindle that nature within ourselves that connects us through? And again, the sound is the vibration. The song is the vibration. The fluids in our body have frequency to them. It's a means of literally communicating chemically with the earth. How do we put this all together again? Oh, and Michelle, you're muted.
Michelle.
When you, sorry about that. When you talk about that, Chiraya, and you say women peeing on the earth, okay? Some people would look at me and say, what did she just say? But I want to ask a little bit more about that, because years ago I went to Serpent Mound in Ohio, and I went with some girlfriends, and I just found those. I was just looking at that yesterday, and I remembered that trip. It was like 2016 or something. Actually, it was for the solar eclipse, when we had that big solar eclipse that everybody was watching in North America. And we went from St. Louis to Ohio by car, because we flew to St. Louis. But I kept hearing, we need to go and do ceremony, women together doing ceremony after the Serpent Mound thing. It ended right before World Water Day. And we had to go where the two rivers meet, the Mississippi and the Missouri, because it was on our route to get back to the airport. And I was determined. There was like this overwhelming, you have to go to this spot. And we almost missed our flight, or we thought we were going to miss our flight because of time, right? We had the rental car, we had to get that back. But I was like, no, we have to do this ceremony. And I didn't know why. And as soon as we got there, we made the pact with each other. No matter what happens, if we miss our flight, we were meant to. They all agreed with me. There were 3 other women. And we get there, and we're running to where the rivers meet, and I hear, you have to pee on the earth. And I look at my besties, and I'm like, are you all cool with peeing on the earth right here? And they're like, okay. And I go, I don't know, what is it? Is it that our earth wants our DNA? What was that? Why was that placed on my heart that we needed to give our urine, our water
No.
to the earth at that place where those two rivers met. I don't know. And just to finish that thought, we did not miss our flight. Even though we got to the airport late, our flight was delayed and there was no one in the airport when we got there. It was eerie. It was like, what is this? There's nobody here. And we ended up getting on the flight. But I feel like it was because we surrendered and trusted again. That's what we're being asked to do, is to take the action that's placed on our heart for our Earth Mother, for our race, for humanity, and surrender and trust the rest. So I want to hear what your thought is about why we're being called to be on.
It's kind of interesting. I'll tell you two things that come to my mind. I had a boyfriend that when we moved into a house together, peed in every corner of the yard. Not in the house. He
Oh, the
peed in
yard, good.
every single corner of the yard. And he was declaring a the boundaries, okay?
Mhm.
And shortly after that, I read this book. It was a fiction book, and it was a fiction book, but it was hiding magic inside the fictional book.
Mm.
And it talked about the rituals of walking around the house and the yard and really anchoring in and peeing all over, claiming it as yours, letting spirit know that you're connected to that. And there is something about mixing that is acclaiming to that area. But I do think it's funny because, green grass turns brown if you pee on it. So we're talking about the dirt, but we're talking about, we're also talking about natural body functions that are in alignment with the earth. You know, it, so what do we use for they use soil in different ways, and they even do use feces in different ways for different things to break down. We decompose. This body is going to decompose. It's not going to be so pretty, like we break down to those. So I don't know. There's something really about. I think these rituals of honoring the earth are really important, and understanding that it's all sound and vibration here, and that once we can listen, then we're aligned. It's and I talk about using tuning up. You know, I think when we all do a little process, I'll share my your tuning to the earth process, because I think we all need to do that. We just forget about it. That's why today is perfect for having this discussion on how we each see it. Chiraya.
Permaculture. We talk about in permaculture, you know, composting urine and feces and all that, and human manure, doing it safely. Some people, you know, nourish their bushes and things like that with that. And then also, yeah, to what Joan was saying there and what Michelle was asking, you're basically saying we were here. You're saying we were here right now. You're marking the energy of that territory with a proclamation of your existence and right to be on the earth. And then, like you said, possibly something with the DNA as well. It felt like again, ceremonial gesture to proclaim intent. And you
Right.
know, Missouri is an interesting place. And then so the Missouri and the Mississippi. What state were you in when you were doing that? When you were there?
Now I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Was it Missouri where we were? It was where Daniel Boone's place is. I'll have to look that up. They have some.
Interesting. I'm hearing the words closure of a timeline. We'd have to look a little bit deeper into what that could possibly mean. That maybe I think you were demarcating a special moment of transition, would be my general take on it. And what a beautiful way to do that. And urine is plasma ultrafiltrate. It's not anything bad. It's filtered blood, right? It's filtered. It's just such a simple thing. Mm-hmm. And we've made this big hoo-ha to do about pouring in God knows how many gazillions of gallons of water and mixing that with all of our waste and then flushing it into containers under the ground. It's like that, then hold it and don't return it to the earth. Our systems are a little backwards. I mean, I know that everybody's doing everything the best they could, trying to figure these things out. But what people are learning now so funny. We're talking about the earth and we're getting all scatological on it here. But you know what the people who are doing composting toilets and all this stuff are finding is that you separate the urine and the feces, and then it doesn't even smell, and then it can go back to the earth safely through correct practices, and we don't have to go to all this expense and waste, you know, on the sort of more material level.
And that's amazing. Okay, that's how we can recycle, revamp, renew, regenerate. Even in our housing and our food and water, these are the processes that renew the spirit of the earth, who needs so much renewing and cleansing. Can you imagine what it's like to be the earth herself and having war? I mean, experiencing the bloodshed that she experiences and the war. I don't think she has that reaction when, say, a lion might kill food for prey because it's a natural occurrence. But all the trauma we have inflicted, not just the war, but so much that we've done and in the air, from the air down, the chemtrails. So I
I
think,
don't think of it as a we. Like when I think of that, it's like these days I'm looking at those beings who've decided to orchestrate war for their own ends. It's like what have they been doing here on the planet? And then other people kind of catch on to that energy and go with it. But you know, it's been a intentionally perpetrated thing rather than a we did it. I certainly didn't do it. At least that I
oh
remember.
no,
Maybe I did back
of
in my
course,
youth times or something.
we the people don't ever want to hurt other people and destroy our planet, destroy our water, destroy our women, our men, our children. We want to live here in peace and harmony.
Yeah, we do.
And now I think we have to really reclaim our connection to the earth and hear the earth song and do what we can energetically also to help clear that and bring that.
When we think about it, our bodies are extensions of the earthly mother. So she does know how to take care of us. And so I did a lot of training in with, you know, like Tom Brown and other native type things. As what you really want to do is be realize that your body is an extension of the earth and sit on the earth and ask her for what you need, especially when it comes to your physical well-being. Like if you need a place to live, if you need to know how to nourish yourself, if you need to know whether a relationship is good for you, you can literally, Mom, what should I do? You know, where am I living, Mom? What do I need, Mom? Where it's like we're the expression of that Father, Mother, God in a form with the spirit and the material form all combined into one as the mouthpiece of that Mother, Father, God divinity.
I'm also feeling that she's wanting us to look deeper at our resources. I think I recently learned from Renette Senna, who's running for California governor. I'd never heard this term before, but she talked about something called primal water. Have you ever heard of this term, primal water? I think
I
there was,
haven't.
Chiraya, have you? Do you know about this man that discovered it and he doused about the water that's stored in the inner earth and how you can access it with dowsing rods in order to drill wells?
Mm,
It's just
Yes, that's
totally,
dowsing for wells. Yes, and the water gives off an energy tone that the dowsing rods can experience, and they call those people water witches, the people who can actually find the wells.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I 100,000% agree with you. And so many of our brothers and sisters around the world are getting that same call, and they're buying land and they're creating gardens and they're creating community and they're like, just like the whole Hopi prophecy said, look to your water. Look to your garden, and then, you know, get in the river and hang onto a log and look around and see who's floating with you. But these are the times we were in. We have been warned. We have been told way ahead of time that this time was coming. Now my crown chakra is going off. And, you know, we're in it, and not to be afraid of it, but just like literally look around, see who you're floating with. You know, where is your water?
Right.
Where is your water coming from? Is it just from a big cistern in the city, or do you have access to another source and supply? Where is your food coming from? Is it just a grocery store, or do you have access to a natural source? Also, redundantly. And, maybe that redundant source from the earth would help your body even more than what's in the grocery store. Let's really think about, not just take it for granted that these resources are show up in our world from all these places all over the world, um, in these stores owned by others, and sometimes large groups. And
No,
so, what's our each of our responsibility in really thinking that through right now? I would pose that question to all of us.
there's a lot of that. And Joan, you have been with me at the Integratron.
Yes.
Right? So Joan lives in the desert. Usually the desert's very dry. And underneath Giant Rock, where we love to go to, it's a very sacred portal place that has called to us and asked us to come back with reverence, the way the chiefs of the tribes of the north and the south used to meet there and pray for humanity and pray for all life on earth at Giant Rock. And Giant Rock split. It was the largest boulder on the earth, and it split on February 21st, 2000. So it's 22 years ago is when a piece of it came off, and people still go there all the time. It's, like a beautiful wonder of the world. And there's an aquifer. I think three aquifers meet there underneath the ground there. And whenever I would go to the Integratron, they were very generous with giving us the water that came from their land, from the aquifer underneath that land. And several years ago, our government made a law, and I'm not really good with all details and stuff like that, but it was something to the effect of, if you live on property where you're getting water from right from underneath on your land, that you're not entitled, it's not yours.
It's not your water. Right.
It's the government's or something. And I was like, it kind of irritated me back then when I heard that, because I remember saying to the sisters at the Integratron, you mean that water isn't yours? They can just come in and take it from you? I don't understand how that works. This is your land, isn't it? So it's interesting to see how this is kind of coming around in our field of awareness right now. This, where is our source
where
from?
is our water?
Yeah.
And
Where?
right, and so that has to do with the land patents. So the land patents, there's land patents, water patents, and mineral right patents. And sometimes you can have the patent for all of it. Sometimes you have patent for one or more on any given piece of land. And there's a whole body of knowledge about that if people want to contact me about it. I don't know if it's appropriate for this conversation here today, but there's a lot of information about that. And I am not an expert on it, but I know some of the experts on that topic.
It might be interesting because just like Michelle, I was kind of outraged when I read, I think it's up Washington, Oregon, it's illegal to collect rainwater. And I
Yeah, and
guess
that's
from
just
one
like,
perspective, it's illegal to create it. So nevertheless, there are a lot of things we have to deal with here, and water is really important. And I think I saw a Twitter. Oh, this was pretty funny. Elon Musk on Twitter was asking our governor or California why we're not desalinating the ocean. That we have so many miles of coastline. Why hasn't California desalinated the ocean? And that's true. Why aren't we taking advantage of where there is natural water
mm-hmm,
to to clean it? You know, why is it that the farms have been taken over? Why is it we have to continue to fight to have good healthy water, good healthy land, even the land that's been denatured? So I think we have a lot of work to do to really reboost the spirit of the earth and each person's commitment to, I think, putting the earth between our toes,
mm-hmm,
because those people who live in cities don't have a connection, and they go to that grocery store, and if anything should ever happen and somehow this magical spigot is turned off of my water fountain there, my fuel fountain there, and my food fountain there, and I lived in a city, I don't, And even here where we are, we're not prepared to have a life that's outdoors with our land. And so part of talking about the spirit of the earth is talking about how we can learn to have more connection now, because I think in the next few years it's going to be very important.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you guys think, but I think it is
Mm-hmm.
going to be huge.
Yeah,
Where does
for
these
sure.
resources come from?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the entire scenario is pushing us to do what we know we need to do anyway, deep down inside.
Right. And that is true too. Everything is pushing us to clean up our act here on the planet.
I think
What
it's
do you think?
very compelling right now that a lot of us are feeling it inside of our bodies if we're healers, feeling that Mother Earth is speaking to us and asking us to reassess where we place things outside of ourselves and handed our own power over to others rather than working with the resources we were given when we incarnated in these suits, these human suits. We were given everything we needed to make our houses, to make our shelters. Our shelters didn't look like the housing structures that we have now, but to make our shelters, we had our water, we had the earth, we had different regions for whatever plants that provided us our medicine because our food is our medicine. And I think we've got so far away from that this particular period of time is really begging us to open our minds and to actually tune into the other brain, not just this brain, but our heart brain and our gut brain. And when something doesn't feel right, to question it. And then to go out and find the solutions and work with each other. I don't think we're going to get through this particular period of time unless we remember that unity through community is the way through. When we quit competing with each other and we come together for the sake of our species, that the human race is facing its own extinction if we do not get off our rear ends and work together in harmony. And that's why I think I'm so grateful to Neil for allowing us this opportunity and saying, sisters, why don't you have this conversation? I'm going to be traveling and, why don't you have this conversation? Because he knows how organic each one of us is with each other and that there's no competition between us. We love each other and we love the human race and we love our Mother Earth. And that's why we're here. We're showing up for her. And thank you to anyone who's listening, to this live stream or who's watched the replay. Thank you for listening and taking this energy into your own hearts and applying it.
I love that. So here's what I'm thinking. Do you have any prayers for the earth or any messages for the earth, each of you, that we can maybe share?
On tap, yes. Just so
All
you.
right. You're ready.
Oh, wait. Do you want to go first, Michelle?
No, Chiraya, I just feel like you're the one. I think we'll take Michelle and I away.
Mm.
Tina, if you will take us away.
Calling on the spirit of the earth, Mother Earth. We call her Mother, that divine, feminine, that beautiful, loving mother that cares for us, that nurtures us, that sees the best in us, that wants the best for us. And that divine Father who helps us hone our sense of self and identity and our sense of responsibility, the ability to respond. So we're speaking to Mother, Father, God, divine presence of life itself, divine presence of love. We are so grateful that you have brought us all here together today to commune with you, to feel the loving frequencies and vibrations of the original source harmonic universe and of each other's hearts and of our brothers and sisters on the planet and around the cosmos. And we're so grateful that we have an opportunity here to cause there to be an even stronger bond of love between and among our human family and the earth. And as we are awakening to the necessities of this time, We ask that you guide each and every one of us to the best, most wonderful actions, thoughts, words, affirmations, connections, relationships, insights, inspiration that we require, each one of us, to navigate our own unique part on the earth. And as Michelle was so beautifully sharing earlier, help us all to also let go of any of the last remaining threads of the old divide and conquer energy of competition, where we would tear each other down with an attempt to raise ourselves up. That paradigm is gone and done and over. We've experienced it. We've experienced and felt the pain of it. Creator, help us each find any last remnants of any of these old paradigm thoughts, beliefs, worries, fears that would cause us to feel at odds with one another as a human family, and cleanse, clear, clean, heal those now back into the nothing from which they came, from the root core cause, easily, gently, gracefully, harmoniously, and in peace. Any timeline, lifetime, or anywhere in our ancestral lineage where we experienced the difficulties of war and separation, we ask that those things be healed for Mother Earth herself and all her children, all those who wish for it right now, to clean any trauma, sadness, grief, fear, pain, suffering, some scark residue, belief systems, beliefs of lack and poverty, belief of how life is, belief in suffering. And we ask, if you want that, just say yes now. Say yes to that creator within yourself and ask that that be cleansed, cleared, cleaned, healed, forgiven now. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere in the entire body, mind, spirit complex, in service to the earth and its cleansing, and in service to all of humanity right now. We do these things, and we ask for this cleansing and this clearing to take place in the most humble, perfect, perfectly timed, graceful ways possible for all who desire it right now. And what we're doing as we do this, it's kind of like clearing the cache, right? If you're a computer person, it's like deleting the trash. We're taking the trash out. We're deleting the old files, and we're opening our hearts and minds up to more of that beautiful harmonic energy from what we might call the original source harmonic universe, where we already knew ourselves and each other as one with the divine. And we always saw immediately the reflection of the divine with each other and in each other, and we co-created and collaborated beautifully. So let's take a moment now and imagine life on earth when we are collaborating from the heart with such a positive intent, knowing that what we put out comes back. So as we imagine the best for all of our human family and the earth and everyone everywhere, then that is the same frequencies that's going to come back to us. So it's really like enlightened self-interest on one level. That maybe is the opening level that we realize this on. And then more and more as it unfolds, we realize truly, you and I are one. We are the same source in different bodies. And so as I bless you, I automatically bless myself and everyone. And so let's just feel and imagine what it's like when all of humanity gets that memo. What would it be like if everyone got that memo? How would you feel in your heart waking up every day, knowing that the people around you are filled with that level of consciousness and intent for the positive well-being and good for all? Look, these are things we can have, and it starts with us. It starts with our imagination. It starts with us clearing out that energy from our body, mind, spirit complex, and then living it more and more and seeing the best in everyone, doing our forgiveness work, doing our inner healing work when anything arises, and imagining together a world filled with love, a world of prosperity for all, a world that is healed, of healed relationships and healed systems. Can you imagine a governance system that came out of that level of consciousness? What would that even look like? What would the school systems look like? What would education even be like? What would the arts be like? How would our world work if that was the consciousness that everything arose from? I invite you to continue to imagine these things. Take time out and even listen to this recording again if you feel inspired by it, to pulse you into that full-bodied experience in your imagination, in your feelings, in your spare time, to imagine what it would be like if that were real now. and to feel it and to go ahead and enjoy it now, because that is indeed how we magnetize experience into our lives. And so, Mother Earth, we're so very grateful for this platform of existence that we have here, and for all of your love, and the love of the spirit within us, and the love of our brothers and sisters, that we can hold our hands and make it through this time period on the planet with grace, with trust, with a comprehension that exceeds even this lifetime, perhaps, and with the knowing, the deep inner knowing that all is well as humanity lifts itself up and returns to the codes of union. So be it, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you,
Whoa.
thank you.
Thank you.
That was
So it
beautiful,
is.
Chiraya. Thank you, thank you. You know, I was inspired to get this book out. Do you remember this book?
The dawn,
Oh
sure.
my gosh, yes. Uh-huh.
We've been talking about this on Awakening Code Radio because we've all been inspired to listen to the audiobook again. The Pleiadians are speaking very loudly right now. For our galactic brothers and sisters that are listening, I encourage everybody to get this. It's on YouTube. There's an audiobook of it. But Barbara Marciniak channeled Bringers of the Dawn from the Pleiadians in the 1990s, and it's very relevant to what's happening on Earth today. It's 2 hours and 37 minutes or 47 minutes. It's like a 2.5 hour audio. And I just encourage us all to revisit it for these times. And oh my gosh, I just love all of you so much. Can we share, Chiraya? I think, Joan, are you going to be at Disclosure Fest as well? I know, Chiraya, are you coming?
I may be coming. It's not a completely set in stone.
What is the date of the Disclosure Fest? I have not gotten a ticket yet.
June 18th. June 18th, it's right before the summer solstice. Los Angeles State Historic Park. We have 16 stages on 32 acres. In 2019, 20,000 people gathered together at this vegan yoga, music, art, conscious speakers, for the mass meditation experience. It's an initiative that Disclosure Fest started, gosh, now I don't even know how many years ago, but I really feel that these in-person gatherings are super important right now, that we come together, unified, loving each other. We're all children under the same sun, and send our love out to all life in every realm and dimension, and clear those karmic things that are happening, and just call forward, building and creating the new, what we want to see on Earth. And that's what Disclosure Fest is all about. So disclosurefest.org on June 18th. And I just encourage everyone to go there and get their tickets. And Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up.
All right. So that is very powerful. What do you have anything about the Bringers of the Dawn, other messages you want to share with us?
The teachings from the Pleiadians are just so amazing. Just, one of the things that they talk about a lot is our DNA and the coding in our DNA. I think it's a deep dive. There's a lot in there about sound and frequency. There are things in here that talk about, the way we use language. Think about how we're using our language right now. So important. We want to be anchoring in the vision that we want to see instead of constantly talking about what we don't want to see. And when we're giving our energy to all those negative things that we don't want to see, we're actually giving them energy and pulling them closer. So using our language, just a reminder, and inviting everyone to consider, that's a conscious act right now, that the energy that we're putting with our language is super important to this co-creational process we're in.
It's like we're voting with our words and our frequencies, and it's like at a certain point we have to come out of denial of some of the bad things that have been happening, but we need to really pull ourselves up out of that and exactly like you're saying, redirect our focus so that we're energizing the world we wish to live in and the connections we wish to have.
Yes. Energizing the world we wish to live in, electrifying it, because that's the ascension pathway.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the new timeline. We all have our personal timeline and our global galactic timeline. And it just comes from us walking that path of mastery to do that. It's kind of very, very interesting. So I just want to share with everyone too a little bit about healing the earth, and then we'll go around and you can anything else that's upcoming. I know, Chiraya, we want to show your event with Neil and stuff like that. So guys, when I work, so on Mondays I do Miracle Monday, and often on Miracle Monday I can't see myself now. The world is between us. Can't have the world between us. All right. Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you. Oh, the world is so large. So, guys, just with me for a minute. Rub your hands together. Take a moment to feel that energy within your hands. Okay. Good. I see everyone in the back room doing it too, moving those hands together. And then as I take my hands and I start to feel that energy around that earth. So, if you would kindly send energy to me with your right hand, because we can send with our right and we receive with the left, we can have a complete flow of energy around this planet and sending the earth energy of love, energy of healing. See, I having you all work with me because it's us together doing this. This is calling the angel brigade, all of us, knowing that we are here to help uplift, vibrate, accelerate, ascend, awaken, so that we can have that dawn. Those bring that we are the bringers of the dawn, that we can have that new dawn and that new life we're calling for. So sending down to the earth and imagining right now all of us together circling around the earth and sending down seeds and energy, celestial seeds of peace, love, balance, harmony, freedom, health, opportunities, optimism, the restoration of our planet. The water's blue, the sky's blue. Everything we touch, we see, and we feel provides healing and nurturing for each of us. And so it is. And we also ask Mother Earth to forgive us for the fact that we have at times forgotten that she was the very ground under our feet. And so it is. And there's so much more we can say. But guys, I want you to make sure that you ground. That took me out. I had a vision before, Chiraya, when you were doing your prayers. I saw the three of us, much like a Dolores Virtue card I saw years ago, and she had that card with all the angels praying over the earth. And I saw the three of us miles and miles out and kind of tethered together, kind of like the picture Neil had of us, and we were infusing the earth together with everyone's help. So that just so inspires me, makes me want to cry.
Oh.
When you were doing that, I was toning, and I was hearing us, if all three of us toning at the same time, making that harmonic tone and that frequency that's emerging of all of us. Uh-oh.
Would you like to lead the tone? Would you like us to tone together with you?
Only if you'll do it, because I'm not
I
really.
will do it. I will do it because yesterday, Carolyn Ford, the crystal skull keeper of Einstein, on my show yesterday, told me that she saw me toning around the world. Okay.
I saw it.
So,
I saw it and I felt it. So I started doing it, and I have such a hard time with my own voice. But a lot of people calm, and I find myself doing something more, a little more. It's kind of mermaidy. So it goes and just join in.
let's
Oh,
do it with you. No, we're going to do it with you. I
so
promise.
we're
We
mermaids
promise.
together. Ready?
And everyone out there, do it in your home so we can hear it.
Okay. connect? I've heard the twinkling of the voices connect. They come
I
together.
did. I did. You know, we
I
have
can
a
go
crystal skull
translate
keeper.
Woohoo!
Okay, so let's do A-E-U. No, A-I-U. That's the crystal skull tones that Shivati, when she brings her crystal, does. And when I communicated with the crystal skull, he said, "Do those tones, A-I-U."
Okay.
And Neil actually taught me when I was in Mexico how to do it, but my voice is off. But let's do it together.
Okay. Jonathan Goldman would be proud of us right now.
Well, we could tune it up a little bit and tone it up, but yeah, I did these tonings a few weeks ago when I was on this journey with plant medicine, and I like was stuck out in the solar system somewhere, like floating. Like I'm going, this is really dull. I have the experience of just floating and nothingness. What should I do? And I heard the skull tell me to tone, and so I did I-A-I-U, and I started, it was like a motor, and it took me traveling around the earth like I was on a speed thing. So I felt like I was with the Angel Brigade, and we were suddenly like flying all over the earth. And it was so fast. It was like amazing just from doing the toning. And so the guides told me toning is the fuel, it's an activator fuel for us.
It's
And
also massaging our chakras from the inside.
yes,
So why do you think the Native Americans, when they came together and they prayed together, they sang, they chanted, and their feet touched the ground? They used all of that, the communal way of calling forward the rain for the crops to feed the families. And they did it through singing, dancing, and being in communion together with their intentions outside. That's, I think it's, they show us when they're on their drum or they're using their clapping sticks, they're singing and they're chanting, and it's giving their chakras this effect. It's cleansing. Right? I think Goldman wrote a book about the humming effect, right? We talked to him about the humming effect and how healing it is for us because it touches all of our chakras when we hum.
Yeah, and vibrate. Now it's vibrating through our intention device. Our reality creation device here. This wetsuit we have. It's a vibratory device. It's a resonator. It's a transmitter. So we receive the inspiration, then we transmit it, and then it can cause more. I feel like we should do toning more frequently.
I think so. And
More
you know what?
frequently.
I when I would go into the supermarkets with my mask, I hum. I discovered that humming kept me feel pure. And I think humming opens your throat chakra too. But humming with those masks on really helped me. I was able to cope if I ever had to do that. Not very often, but in this, or even just in public places, just hum, 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 hum. All right. So, Shiraya, update us on your next steps and where we can reach you and what you're doing with PTA,
Mm-hmm.
when that is. Okay.
Great. So at my website, chirayadharma.com, that's listed there on the screen, I have all kinds of free webinars and events that are recorded that you can go and get if you wanted to learn about energy clearing or reality creation or have some experiences like that. And I do my best to keep my events updated on the website, but they're not always there. So I highly recommend people hop on my list because then I'll be sharing the different things that I am up to. And then also portal to ascension.com .org/event/ancient-india-conference. Neil and I are putting that on together with a number of really amazing scholars on the Indus Valley and even Kumari Kandam and ancient Indian architecture. And we're both complete geeks for ancient India. Neil and I.
Yes, you
When we
are.
were together, oh my God, when we were together this week, I couldn't even stop talking Indian. I just couldn't stop. That was
Oh,
Neil, this is it. This is all you get. I cannot. So anyway, we're goofballs that way. But we both have spent many lifetimes, let's just say, in Mother India. And so this conference is going to be absolutely wonderful. We can't wait for it. We hope you all will enjoy joining us on that one.
I love it. I love it. And Michelle, I know you have the Disclosure Fest. You have your weekly shows, the
Yeah, we have
Awakening.
our weekly shows. It looks like we're going to have Robert Edward Grant this Tuesday on Awakening Code Radio, and you can find that at kxfmradio.org, or just go to Apple, any of the podcast platforms, and listen to the podcast. But we're on live Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Pacific, and this Tuesday is Robert Edward Grant.
Woohoo!
And
Let's see.
our admin, Colleen, doesn't even know that yet. So if she's watching, she's probably going to be going, hey, I haven't made a banner yet. But yeah, he just got back from Egypt today, and he's going to join us Tuesday night in the studio.
Sounds wonderful. So you actually have in-person podcasts, like your guests come to you.
They come in studio, and we're so behind the eight ball when it comes to, people are doing all these lives with our faces. We're still an FM radio station, and we just had the conversation is just audio. So you can be in your car driving, listening to it, not trying to watch our faces or anything. So but we do have them come in live because it is a real FM radio station in Laguna Beach, right on Coast Highway. And I like to refer to Chiraya at the beginning, at the top of the hour. You talked about the Atlantic bringing in the Atlantean energies, and I feel that here in Southern California, Laguna Beach brings in the Lemurian energies. So it feels like we are really merging that heart-based civilization with the really smart technology-based civilization, and finding the balance between the two. And this is the time. This is the time where we're finally getting it right after a lot of attempts where we didn't. This is the time where consciousness is going to rise above technology. Yes, we have technology, but we're not going to let it eat us alive, and we're not going to become transhuman. We are going to stay organic and continue our love for this beautiful planet that we have been gifted to live upon. So
1,000%. Yeah, that's why it's like the early Atlantis.
Right.
Well, and just wanted to remind you that where I'm at, where you were talking about Giant Rock and Joshua Tree, that was all settled by the Egyptians, and a lot of ancient energy under there. The ancient ones were there, and the ley lines there are connected to the Gaza, the Gaza Strip and the pyramids there. So we're actually encapsulating a lot of ancient energies here. So guys, I want to say you can catch me. I'm going to be doing the Kundalini online conference upcoming May 21st with Alan and Neil, some fantastic speakers. Get to hear music by Larissa Stowe if you're a fan, and just to hear people's awakening stories, how they use this energy to do their work, but how they also connected to spirit and woke up. And what better way to ascend than on a Saturday with us on Kundalini? Okay, Kundalini rising, just like we're all ascension rising. And I truly believe that. And guys, you can reach me at joanofangels.com and get your free What's My Life Purpose. And I do have an upcoming class. Oh, yes. And on Saturday, I'm going to be on Watchers Talk, but you'll be able to pick it up on my station, actually. We're going to be talking about the timelines tomorrow, panel on the timelines, and honestly, how you can shift your own personal timelines with the outcomes that we ask for harmony. So it is. So, guys, we all appreciate this. So big kisses your way. Mother Earth needs you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. We'll see you all next time.
You.
Sounds great.
Love you, Neil. Thank
I
you
will
for
do this again.
love it. Love
I
it.
would
This
come
was
back.
beautiful. I'll come back. All right.